I have worked at Holbrook Asylum for 12 years. That's what I tell the new staff when they arrive, though they rarely last long. Most can't handle the silence that saturates this place. It's not the kind of silence you find in libraries or chapels where it feels earned. No, this silence is swollen, a thing you can feel pressing against your skull. It carries weight, like an old wet blanket laid across the mind. My name is Emric Vale, and my position is orderly. I ensure the halls remain clean, the patients remain calm, and the rules remain intact. Holbrook is not a large asylum. 3 wings sprawl off the central rotunda like the legs of a crooked spider. At night, when the lanterns dim and the patients retreat to their rooms, I walk those wings with the steadiness of ritual, each step, each door checked, each glance through the viewing pane. It has been years since anyone thanked me for my work. But that doesn't matter. I am loyal. I am necessary. It began on a Tuesday. I was making my rounds in East Wing, the section reserved for quiet patients, men and women who rarely spoke, who lived half suspended in their private dream worlds. As I moved past room 12, I heard it. A voice. Not speech, not the muttering that often leaks from these walls. Singing. It was low, nearly inaudible, but clear enough to make the hair on my arms stiffen. The melody did not belong to any song I knew. It swam between notes, broken yet deliberate, like a nursery rhyme remembered in fragments. I placed my eye to the viewing slit. Inside, the patient, Kellen Thrine, sat upright in bed, his face tilted toward the ceiling. His lips trembled with the sound, his eyes rolled back until only the whites showed. His fingers twitched like plucked strings, in perfect rhythm with the half melody. I unlocked the door and stepped in. "Kellen," I said quietly, my voice the way we are trained to use, calm and slow. "It's late. You should be resting." The song stopped. His mouth stayed open, but no air passed. Then his head twisted towards me, far too quickly though, like a puppet yanked by an unseen thread. "You're late," he whispered. My blood cooled. Late for what? Kellen blinked. His pupils returned. "For your shift." He lay back down, turned to the wall and did not speak again. When I stepped out into the hall, I realized my palms were damp with sweat. I finished the round, but the phantom melody clung to me, threaded into the silence. 3 nights later, it happened again, this time in South Wing, where the more volatile patients are kept. I never linger there longer than I must. The screams sometimes never end. It was around 2 in the morning when I saw the stain. At first I thought it was water damage, dark, jagged lines crawling up the plaster near the floor. But as I moved closer, the lines shifted. I could swear they recoiled, sliding just out of my sight like worms shying from light. I pressed my palm against the wall. It felt warm, almost feverish. Then, faintly, a knock from inside the wall. I staggered back, staring. The knock came again, slow, deliberate, 3 times. A voice whispered through the plaster. Not words exactly, more like syllables, half-born. Wet, slurred sounds that trembled with effort. I spun around, scanning the hall. No patients were awake. Every cell door sealed, yet the whisper continued, pressing itself into my ear, so close I could almost taste it. Emric. It knew my name. I fled, I did not care if my shoes struck too loud against the floor. I ran until I reached the rotunda, where the lanterns glowed brighter and the air felt stable again. I told myself it was fatigue. This place gnaws at even the best men. The walls are old. The pipes carry sound in strange ways. Still, I could not unhear the way the plaster had shaped my name. Last night was the worst. The night everything fell apart. I was finishing my final round in the rotunda. The lanterns flickered unusually low, their light dim and jaundiced. My reflection in the black window glass looked warped, like the surface of the glass was liquid. As I passed the grand clock that stands at the rotunda's center, I froze. It had stopped. The hands both pointed straight down, as though weighted. I checked my pocket watch, but it was too frozen. The second hand twitching uselessly at the same place. That's when I heard them. Footsteps. Dozens of them, approaching from every wing at once. I spun, but the halls remained empty. Only the sound, shoes striking stone, measured in perfect unison, louder, closer until they seemed just beyond the doorways. "Kellen!" I whispered without meaning to. "Is that you?" The answer came not from the hall, but from above. I tilted my head back. The ceiling of the rotunda had dissolved into shadow, and in that shadow faces leaned down, pale, eyeless, countless faces pressed together like wax melted into one another. They stared though they had no eyes, mouths opening wide enough to split their jaws. They began to sing. The same broken nursery rhyme Kellen had hummed, but now multiplied, harmonized into a shrieking choir that made my knees buckle. I stumbled towards the door. My hand shook as I gripped the handle, but the door was locked. All of them were locked. The song rose, pierced, shattered. My head screamed with it. And then, darkness. When I awoke, I was not in the rotunda. I was lying in a bed. The sheets smelled faintly of bleach, rough against my skin. The walls were white. A barred window leaked grey light. I tried to sit up, but restraints crossed my chest, my wrists and my ankles. A woman sat in the chair across from me. She wore a staff uniform, Holbrook's uniform. Her badge read, Dr. Marin Klein. She regarded me with cautious eyes, pen poised over a clipboard. "Good morning, Mr. Vale," she said gently. "Do you know where you are?" I swallowed. My mouth tasted of iron. "Of course, Holbrook Asylum. I work here. I've worked here for years. You know that." Dr. Klein nodded slowly as though confirming something to herself. "You've been a patient here for 6 years. You were admitted after the incident with your family. Do you remember?" My chest tightened. I shook my head violently. No, I'm staff. I have rounds. I have duties. I keep order." Her eyes softened with pity. "That's the delusion, Emmerich. You believe you're an orderly, but you've never been employed here. You've been under observation the entire time." The room tilted. My stomach lurched. "You're lying," I hissed. "Ask Kellen. Ask the others. They know me. She leaned forward. "There is no patient named Kellen Thryne. You created him, just as you created the events you described to us last night." A pen scratched across the clipboard. The singing, the walls, the rotunda, they weren't real, Emmerich. They were episodes. We had to sedate you when you began screaming in the rotunda. You weren't doing rounds. You were in the common halls shouting at the clock. I pulled against the restraints, panic burning. "No! I saw them, I heard them, the faces." Dr. Klein sighed. She pressed a button on the wall, and 2 orderlies entered, real orderlies, and their footsteps were heavy. "Give him another dose, please," she said quietly. As the needle pierced my arm, the world blurred. My throat tried to form protest, but only a broken hum escaped. Low, tuneless, like the start of a nursery rhyme. And then there was silence.